Hi darlings, welcome to a new fashion video here on my channel. It's been such a long time since I last did a dupes video and they're always really popular with you guys. They are a really great way of getting the luxury look for less and getting a real designer look to your outfit without having to spend a ton of money. So I thought with it being a new year and especially a time of year where maybe we need a little bit more inspiration and fun into our outfits, it would be a really good time of year to share with you some dupes that I have found on the high street lately. So these are all pieces that are inspired by designer pieces, or they look like they have a much higher price tag, but in reality they are from accessible high street stores. I've done quite a few videos like this in the past, and if you're interested I will leave a few of them linked down below, because a lot of them are including pieces from websites that have a lot of dupes really regularly, and especially things like handbag dupes and shoe dupes. For example, the Gucci fur mules, the websites just have those kind of dupes all the time. So I'm not going to be repeating myself. These are more new dupes that I have found on the high street. As with every video, everything that I mention in today's video will be left linked in the description box down below, so if you want to shop anything just click show more and all the links will be there. And if you are new to my channel and you enjoy this video, then please do click the little subscribe button down below and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos. We have lots of fashion, beauty, lifestyle and travel videos here on my channel, and it would be lovely to have you back. So without further ado, let's get started. So these are going to be in no particular order, just whatever order I grab these pieces from the little pile in front of me. But first of all, we have a pair of wedge espadrille sandals which look very similar indeed to the Castañer Wedges, and I do actually have a pair of Castañer Wedges here to show you so that we can really compare the two. So these ones with the brown suede are my Castañer Wedges. I purchased these at the end of last year from Net-a-Porter, and these are the dupes, which were a fraction of the price. When I bought the Castañer ones, I did actually do a lot of research to try and find a high street alternative, because they are very expensive for what is a very classic Spanish style of shoe. And even when I went to Spain last summer, I was looking through the markets, but I couldn't find the exact perfect style of wedges, so I did end up choosing the designer version. But if we look at the two side by side, there are very few differences. These are slightly heavier. I can't quite figure out why, but if we look at the detail on the Castañer ones, they are finished off in a really beautiful way. They've got really nice detail at the top here. This is a very high quality kind of fabric. The direction of the weave is really neat. It looks very nice. It's got a grippy sole. I haven't even worn these yet. They've got Castañer written at the top here, and then a fairly spongy sole as well. But other than that, they're pretty much just a plain pair of wedges. Now let's have a closer look at the dupes. So the bit of fabric here is really similar in that it's a light cream and a brown kind of weaving. It also has the reveal of the ribbon at the back there. The sole is not quite so squishy, but that really doesn't bother me given the price. The sole is a very similar style. The only real difference is that the Castañer wedges have a different style of weaving down at the bottom, but again, that really doesn't bother me in the slightest. I love that these are in a white colour. If I'd have got the Castañers in a white, then I'd have been really conscious about ruining them. Not that I want to ruin my dupes, of course, but I won't be quite so upset if, for example, I spill a little bit of wine or a bit of my pina colada on them while I am wearing them on my next beach holiday. But if you were looking to get the look of Castañer wedges for a lot less, then these are an absolutely incredible dupe. In most of these examples, I'm not going to have the real thing to show you because I've bought these dupes as an alternative to buying the real deal, so that was a bit of a one-off. Next up, I have a really good dupe for a Marysia bikini. I'm a huge fan of Marysia swimming costumes. I think they're so flattering. They look absolutely brilliant in real life and in photos, so I'm a huge Marysia fan, and I have invested in a few of their bikinis in the past. But then when I saw this one on the high street, it instantly reminded me of a Marysia one that I actually had on my wish list in my basket on Net-a-Porter, but this high street dupe is pretty much identical, and again a fraction of the price. Okay, so when we take it off the hanger, you can see a little bit more clearly. It is a one shoulder bikini top. You could wear it as a bandeau style, you could wear it with one shoulder, or you could even wear it with two, depending I guess on if you're going on water slides or if you really don't want your bikini top to have any risk of falling down. Personally, that has never happened to me. It's got a gold closure at the back. This strap is removable. Personally, I think I will probably remove it and I will wear this with just one one strap. We do have a beach holiday coming up very soon, and I'm so excited to wear this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of my followers will probably think it is the Marysia one, knowing how much I love that brand, but in fact it is a high street dupe. It does also have removable pads from the inside. I will definitely be keeping those in. And then the great thing about this one is that it did have a few different options for the bottoms. I got these. They are a little bit cheeky. They don't have a really big bum section, not a lot of fabric, so it's going to be a really nice way of getting a natural tan all over. Really high up the leg, so hopefully they're going to be really flattering, give the illusion of longer looking legs. So it's a really lovely bikini, whether or not you care that it is a dupe for a Marysia one. I've realised a lot of these dupes are very summery, and obviously we're in the middle of winter, but if you do want to pick these up now and store them until your next summer holiday or until the summer does come, then I think it's worth it. These, however, I think will make really nice bridesmaid shoes, or if you have a very feminine style like me, you could start wearing them in maybe a few weeks' time when the temperatures do start to get a little bit more mild. They are the most beautiful little flat shoes with these bows on. I actually discovered a new girl on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. Can't remember the full name of her handle, but it's something Hallie. She lives in LA, she's a style blogger, and she has a beautiful pair of shoes like this, but hers are from Tory Burch. As soon as I saw these, I instantly thought of the Tory Burch shoes and this particular picture of Hallie wearing them, and I just had to snap them up straight away. So if you've had the Tory Burch ones on your wish list, or you just have a super feminine style like mine, then I think these are absolutely gorgeous. They are a satin material, pointed toe, which I always think is very flattering, and then they've got this elastic section at the back which will hopefully keep your foot in place with no slipping around. Next we have a couple of handbag dupes, and I spotted this one on ASOS and the shape instantly reminded me of the Givenchy Antigona bag. It is so similar in the shape, the structure of this is virtually identical, the size is the same, the only thing it's missing is the little triangle here and the Givenchy logo. Whether or not you really care that it's a dupe or you're just looking for a really nice new handbag, I think this is a beautiful option. It does have the logo of the brand on the back there, which is something that I always wish they wouldn't do. River Island is another one. They just plaster River Island all over everything. I wish they wouldn't do that. But if you don't want your brand name to be seen, not that you're trying to hide it, but sometimes I think it's nice to be a little bit more plain and discreet, then you can just turn the bag around. Something I would also do to this bag to make it look even more luxurious is perhaps get a silk scarf and wrap it around the handle. That's something I mentioned in my video about how to make your old clothes look new and stylish again. That was one of my hacks, and I think if you do have a designer dupe bag or a bag that you want to make look a little bit more luxurious, then adding a silk scarf is a really, really good tip. Another handbag dupe is this one here from River Island. River Island have a lot of dupes at the moment, and I am a big fan of so many of the different styles. This looks a lot like the Chloé Pixie bag, which is obviously a very expensive premium handbag, and it's one of the Chloé designs. I'm a huge fan of Chloé, as you might be able to tell, but it's one of the Chloé handbag designs that I decided not to invest in because I thought the high street actually had some perfect alternatives. Size-wise, again, it's very, very similar. I don't believe any of the Chloé ones have this lower chain, but they do have this ring. That ring has really become symbolic of Chloé, and this one does also have a shoulder strap too. Speaking of River Island dupes, this pair of shoes, when I first featured them on my Instagram, I had friends messaging me being like, "Oh Josie, congratulations on your new Gucci Mules." No, they're not Gucci, they are River Island, as you can see from the logo. I don't mind this logo, it's more when they put River Island on that kind of gold bar on their handbags, but this looks so Gucci-esque that it really doesn't bother me. I've always been very impressed with River Island shoes. The quality for the price I think is fantastic, and they always pay attention to the details. For example, the gold on the heel I think is a really lovely luxurious touch on these shoes. The horse bit section again looks very high quality, and generally they're just finished in a really beautiful way. They've got coating on all the seams, the stitching is all really beautiful, and they do have a squishy sole which makes them incredibly comfortable as well. These are the pair of mom style jeans or wide-legged white jeans I think look so, so luxurious. Next I have a whole selection of shell jewellery to show you. So last year, last summer, and I believe again this summer, we saw and are seeing shell jewellery absolutely everywhere, and I absolutely love it, but I don't want to pay the prices of the designer brands, which seem to be dominating the shell jewellery market. Some of these bracelets are literally hundreds of pounds, which is total madness. I have some really good dupes here, my favourite of which is probably this little shell bracelet. I did try to find this online from Topshop, but I couldn't find it, so my best advice would be to look in your local Topshop store, because it doesn't seem like the shell jewellery is online. I got this from the Oxford Circus store, but it looks a lot like a Tohum bracelet, which is pretty much identical. I believe Isabel Marant also have a shell bracelet very, very similar to this. There's also a brand on Net-a-Porter called Wild Berlin, I think that's right, and they have a shell necklace which is pretty much identical to this one, again from Topshop. This was £12.50, and I think this is going to be a really beautiful thing to wear with my Marysia dupe swimming costume. I'm going to be totally duped out on my next holiday. I really like the detail with the one shell that is ceramic and the rest of them are gold, obviously not real gold, plated metal. I think this is going to look absolutely gorgeous and a really good dupe. I honestly don't see the point in buying the high-end version of this, especially as this is quite an on-trend jewellery style at the moment. It's probably not going to be a timeless jewellery style, and my general rule when it comes to investing versus saving is if something is a trend, then it's better to save, and if it's a really timeless piece, then it's better to invest. A couple of other shell jewellery pieces to show you. This pair of earrings is from ASOS. I will leave these linked down below, again very similar to the designer options. Topshop had this little cluster including a conch shell, a pearl, and then a little mini shell too, and then probably my favourite, not a direct dupe of any particular design that I've seen, but probably my favourite of all the shell jewellery that I've picked up from the high street is this pair of earrings, and I'm so looking forward to wearing these in the Maldives, almost like a hammered metal hoop, and then the shells hanging from down below. So I feel very chuffed with my collection of shell dupe jewellery. Definitely check in your local Topshop, and I'll leave the ASOS ones linked down below as well. Next up we have a jacket, something a little bit more weather appropriate for this time of year, and it is this beautiful tweed effect jacket, which yes, it does look very Chanel-esque. It's got lots of different coloured tweeds in there, mostly this turquoise shade. You've also got some orange. I think Balmain also have a jacket very similar to this one, but it certainly made me think of a Chanel jacket. Match this with a tweed skirt, and I think that's a really, really beautiful two-piece. It's quite long. I do prefer slightly more crop jackets, but this was £68, so if you want to wear something a little bit more smart and designer looking for work, then this could be a really, really beautiful option. I really wanted to find an amazing dupe for the Dior crop tops that you get with Christian Dior written across the straps. Victoria's Secret have some lingerie which has Victoria's Secret written on the straps, which is quite similar, but then I also found this, and I know that Dior don't have anything anywhere near as bold as this, but I actually really like it. I think it's so fun, especially if you're going on like a party holiday, if you're going to Ibiza or Ayia Napa or somewhere like that, then I think this is really cool, and it does give that designer luxe look with these printed shoulders. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of neon. I don't think I'll be keeping this because it's not hugely my style, but I thought it was one to mention. This next piece, I have to apologise because the name of the designer has completely escaped my head, but this handbag is a fantastic dupe for a designer handbag, which is a lot more expensive. It's basically a little leather bucket bag in what looks like kind of like a fishing net or just a string net casing. It has got a pulley at the top here, so all of your bits and bobs are nice and secure. This would be a really great holiday bag. And again, the designer one is literally 10 times the price of this one, and I think they both look just as cute as each other, so I would definitely recommend the high street version of this style of handbag. A bag that we have seen, sorry I keep fiddling with my hair, I don't know where my parting is today, so it's being a little bit weird. A bag that has been duped so much over the past 18 months is the Shrimps Pearl bag, another one that I'm glad I didn't invest in because I absolutely love the high street alternatives. My personal favourite is this little one from Topshop, but I do believe that it is sadly sold out, but there are alternatives, I believe, of the brand Skinny Dip. I think Skinny Dip have got one, but I will leave a selection of dupes for the Shrimp Pearl bag linked down below because there are still some amazing ones to be found on the high street, and in my opinion they look just as cute as the real deal. And then to finish, I have 3 more pairs of shoes to show you. These are slightly looser dupes. They are definitely designer inspired, but they're not quite as close to the real deal as some of the previous things I've showed you. Firstly, this pair of sandals really remind me of the Saint Laurent sandals, which which I'll leave on the screen now. The Saint Laurent ones, if you want a real mega dupe, I would recommend checking out your nearest Zara when the temperatures get a bit warmer, because last year Zara had an like spitting image identical dupe to the Saint Laurent ones, which I do actually have, but they're looking a little bit battered because I wore them so much last summer. But this pair I think are very, very similar, and they definitely look a lot more high-end than their price tag. Another pair of sandals which I think look a lot like designer sandals is this pair. The ring detail instantly made me think of Chloé sandals. Again, they're not an absolute dupe, but they definitely have that designer look about them. Next we have this gold pair of slip-on mules, again from River Island. I'm such a fan of their mules. I absolutely love gold mules. I have a pair from Nicholas Kirkwood. I recently just invested in a new pair from Tod's as well, and I get so much use out of them. I find the metallic of the gold goes with so many different outfits, and it looks so beautiful and high-end. And if you do want that look for your outfit but you don't want to spend the price points of the Nicholas Kirkwoods or the Tod's, then this River Island pair is a really good alternative. Again, with this kind of horse bit detail in the middle, they could be a little bit Gucci-esque. For River Island, they're quite expensive. These were £50, but as I mentioned with the previous ones, I think they look and feel really good quality, and they are real leather, so hopefully they will last for many, many wears. If you are tempted to actually invest in the Nicholas Kirkwood ones, which I did mention in my top 15 purchases of all time because I wear them so much, then you'll be pleased to know they're currently on sale. They're 40% off, so I will leave the actual Nicholas Kirkwood ones linked down below as well. I'm very tempted to get another pair for myself, but I think that's a little bit extra considering I also just got these beautiful River Island ones. And I was actually going to finish on the shoes, but I just looked at my rail behind me and remembered this beautiful item. So I got this jumper from And Other Stories, and it reminds me so much of a Zimmermann jumper which I'd had on my wish list for so long but couldn't bring myself to spend 580 I think pounds on a jumper. The exact details will be down here, but this one looks so similar, aside from the fact that it doesn't have a billowing sleeve up here and then a tight section down at the bottom. The Zimmermann one is not dissimilar in style to this one that I've got on now, like a really long cuff that's tight to the arm and then a billowing section, but I actually prefer the shape of this one. I think the pom-poms have enough volume to them without having to have a billowy sleeve as well. But again, a fraction of the price. I wear this a lot with my white Reese skirt, this one here, and I think they look so gorgeous together. This outfit looks so high-end, but the jumper was under £100, so around a fifth or a sixth of the price of the Zimmermann jumper. So those are my dupes for February 2019. I know they are all pretty summery, but as I said, probably worth picking up a few of these pieces if you love them now, because we all know that shops are very strange with their timelines, and just when you want to pick up summer stuff, it's no longer there. So if you love any of these pieces, don't hang around, especially like the shell jewellery and the wedges, things like that, because the high street retailers do have a much quicker turnaround, so stuff sells out very, very quickly indeed. But I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm so happy with all of these dupes. I genuinely love all of these pieces. Some I think I actually prefer to the designer version. So if you've got any amazing dupes that you found, please let me know. Tag me on Instagram stories or leave me a little note down below if you found any amazing dupes that you think I will like and that anyone else watching this video will like. That would be amazing to share your favourite dupes. And yeah, I think that is all from me, so thank you so much for watching. As I mentioned, please do subscribe for more if you are new to this channel, and if you found this video interesting and useful, give it a thumbs up. That always means a lot to me. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.